I need to tell you about the year my sister killed me off. Not literally, obviously. I'm here. I'm breathing. I'm typing this out at 2 in the morning because sleep hasn't come easily in a long time. But in every way that mattered to my family, I ceased to exist for 11 months. My sister Rachel made sure of that. It started at Thanksgiving 3 years ago, though if I'm being honest, it had been building for much longer. I just hadn't wanted to see it. I'm the middle daughter. Rachel is 2 years older, and our youngest sister Morgan is 4 years younger than me. Classic birth order set up, right? The ambitious eldest, the peacekeeper middle, the free-spirited baby. Except those roles calcified over time into something more rigid and more damaging than any of us realized. Rachel was always the golden child. Straight A's without trying, full ride to a prestigious university, job offers before graduation. She married Todd, a litigation attorney, when she was 26. They bought a house in the same neighborhood where we grew up, just 4 streets away from our parents. 2 kids followed in quick succession. Jordan and Sage. Perfect children with perfect names doing perfect activities. Morgan moved to Portland after college to pursue something big involving graphic design and social justice. She posted a lot on Instagram about intersectionality and farmers markets. Our parents worried about her constantly, which meant they called me constantly to ask if I thought Morgan was okay, if I'd heard from her, if I could maybe reach out. I lived about 40 minutes away from our hometown. Close enough to visit regularly. Far enough to have my own life, or so I thought. I worked as a senior project coordinator for an insurance company. Not glamorous. Not impressive at family dinners. But stable. Reliable. I owned a small 2-bedroom house. I had a dog named Stella. I went to yoga twice a week and kept plants alive. I was fine. The problem, I think, was that fine wasn't interesting. Rachel needed me to be her support system. Morgan needed me to be her interpreter to our parents. Our parents needed me to be the bridge between everyone. And I did it. For years, I did it without really noticing that I was doing it. I was the one who organized all the family gatherings. I sent out the group texts about whose house we do Christmas at, who was bringing what dishes, what time we should arrive. I coordinated birthday dinners. I remembered to buy gifts for nieces and nephews. I made the reservations. I picked up files for Mom on Mother's Day because Rachel was too busy and Morgan forgot every single year. When Rachel was overwhelmed with the kids, I babysat. When she and Todd fought, I listened to her vent for hours over wine. When Morgan had a crisis about her career or her relationship or her existential dread, I talked her down at midnight via video chat. When my parents needed help with technology or medical paperwork or understanding their new insurance plan, I drove over and sat with them until it was handled. I showed up. That was my role. I showed up. And here's the thing about being the person who always shows up. People stop noticing. It becomes expected. Your presence becomes furniture. You're just there, reliable and consistent and unremarkable. I started noticing the imbalance maybe 2 years before everything fell apart. Little things at first. I'd spend 4 hours helping Rachel organize Jordan's birthday party, and she wouldn't even mention it afterward. I'd cancel plans to drive Morgan to the airport, and she'd forget to text me when she landed. I'd listen to Mom describe Rachel's promotion for the 100th time, but when I mentioned a project I'd successfully completed at work, the subject would change within minutes. But I told myself I was being petty. Keeping score. That's what selfish people do, right? Family isn't supposed to be transactional. So I kept showing up. Thanksgiving that changed everything started normally enough. It was at Rachel and Todd's house. They had the space, Rachel said. And the nice dishes. And the big kitchen. What she meant was that she wanted to host so she could control everything and receive credit for the effort, but I wasn't supposed to say that out loud. I arrived at 10 in the morning to help prep. Rachel had sent me a list a week before. Specific dishes I was assigned to make. Green bean casserole. Mashed potatoes. Dinner rolls. The sides that required actual work but that no one would particularly remember or praise. Morgan wasn't coming until 3. She had a brunch thing with friends she texted the night before. Our parents would arrive around 2. Rachel's in-laws were coming at 4, right before dinner. So it was just Rachel and me in the kitchen for hours. and Todd intermittently, but mostly in the living room watching football while periodically walking through to comment on cooking times or temperatures as if he were quality control. I made the green beans. I peeled and boiled and mashed 12 pounds of potatoes. I prepared 3 batches of rolled dough and set them to rise. Rachel worked on the turkey and the stuffing and the elaborate appetizers she'd seen on Pinterest. We worked in relative silence. Rachel wasn't a chatty cook. She was focused, efficient, particular about her kitchen. I knew where things were from years of helping. I stayed out of her way. Around 1, I asked if I could make myself coffee. "Can you wait?" Rachel said without looking up from the stuffing. "I'm using that counter space." I waited. At 2:15, our parents arrived. Mom immediately hugged Rachel and complimented the house, which looked exactly like it always did. Dad asked about Todd's latest case. They settled in the living room. I kept working in the kitchen. Morgan blew in at 3:45, wearing a vintage fur coat and smelling like cigarettes and cold air. She kissed everyone dramatically. She told a long story about brunch. She opened a bottle of wine that Rachel had been saving and poured herself a large glass. "Do you need help with anything?" Morgan asked, glancing toward the kitchen. "We're good," Rachel called out. "Just relax." Morgan relaxed. I kept working. Todd's parents arrived. More hugs, more compliments for Rachel. Someone asked me to take coats. I took coats. Someone asked if there was more wine. I opened more wine. Someone asked about appetizers. I arranged appetizers on a platter and brought them out. Dinner was at 6. We sat at the extended dining table, all 10 of us. Rachel at one head, Todd at the other. Parents on one side with Todd's parents. Morgan next to them. Me at the corner. The turkey was perfect. Everyone said so. Multiple times. Rachel smiled modestly, but you could see how pleased she was. The table looked beautiful. She made centerpieces. The stuffing was incredible. Had she used a new recipe? Yes, she'd modified one from a cooking blog. Everyone should try the cranberry sauce. She'd made it from scratch. The food was good. I'd helped make most of it, but that wasn't really the point anymore. We went around the table sharing what we were grateful for. Standard tradition. Dad went first, talking about family and health. Mom talked about having everyone together. Todd's parents talked about their grandchildren. Morgan talked about new opportunities and growth and finding herself. Todd talked about his career successes and his family. Rachel talked about feeling blessed with her life, her children, her home, how grateful she was to be able to bring everyone together for moments like this. When it got to me, I said I was grateful for my health and for Stella and for job stability. "Stella's your dog?" Todd's mother asked politely. "Yes," I said. "That's nice," she said in the tone people use when they are already thinking about something else. We moved on. After dinner, the men went to the living room. Mom and Todd's mother went with them. Morgan said she needed to make a phone call and disappeared outside. That left Rachel and me with the cleanup. I cleared plates. Rachel started loading the dishwasher in her specific way. I wrapped leftovers. Rachel wiped counters. We worked in the same silent efficiency we'd had all day. I was elbow deep in soapy water, washing the roasting pan that was too big for the dishwasher, when Rachel spoke. "I need to talk to you about something." I rinsed the pan. "Okay, it's about Morgan." Of course it was. "She called me last week," Rachel continued. "She's having money problems again. She didn't want to tell Mom and Dad because they already worry about her so much." I dried the pan carefully. "How much does she need?" "It's not about the money." Rachel's voice had an edge now. "It's about the pattern. She's almost 30 and she's still acting like she's 22. Someone needs to talk to her." I set the pan down. "You want me to talk to her? You're better at it than I am." She gets defensive when I try to give her advice. "Because your advice sounds like judgment." I didn't say. "What exactly do you want me to say?" "Just talk to her about being more responsible, about thinking ahead, maybe suggest she look into jobs with more stability." "Rachel, she's a graphic designer. That is a real job that apparently doesn't pay her bills." I took a breath. Held it. Let it out slowly. "I'll talk to her, thank you." Rachel handed me another pan. "I knew you'd understand." I washed the pan. Oh, and I meant to ask, Rachel said, can you watch the kids next Saturday? Todd has this work thing and I have a hair appointment I've been trying to get for 6 weeks. Next Saturday was my birthday. I'd mentioned it in the family group chat 2 weeks earlier. No one had responded. What time? I asked. 2 to 6, I know it's short notice. 4 hours on my birthday. Watching my niece and nephew while my sister got her hair done and my brother-in-law did networking or whatever. Sure, I said. You're the best, Rachel said. She kissed my cheek and left me with the rest of the dishes. I finished cleaning the kitchen alone. By the time I was done, people were saying their goodbyes. Hugs and thanks distributed to Rachel and Todd. Morgan was already in her car. My parents asked if I was heading out soon. I'd walk out with me. I gathered my things. Rachel thanked me for helping, the same way you thank a hired caterer. Efficient and polite and distant. I drove home in the dark. Stella was thrilled to see me. I sat on the floor and let her lick my face while something heavy settled in my chest. The next Saturday was my birthday. I turned 33. I woke up to a text from Morgan wishing me a happy birthday with 3 cake emojis. Nothing from Rachel or my parents. At 1:45, I drove to Rachel's house. She met me at the door with her purse already on her shoulder. Thank you so much for doing this, she said. There's mac and cheese in a fridge if they get hungry. Jordan has homework, but he'll probably try to tell you he doesn't. Sage needs to practice piano for 20 minutes. Okay, I should be back by 6:30 at the latest. She left. The kids were fine. We played board games. I helped Jordan with math homework. Sage played piano for exactly 20 minutes and then asked if we could bake cookies. We baked cookies using a mix Rachel had in the pantry. Rachel got home at 7:15. Sorry, I ran into Sarah at the salon and we went for coffee after. How were they? Good. We made cookies. Oh. She looked at the cooling cookies on the counter. I was going to use that mix for Jordan's school thing. Did you use all of it? There wasn't a note. I'm sorry, it's fine. I'll just pick up more. She sounded annoyed. I left. No one mentioned my birthday. That night, I got a Facebook message from my mother. Happy birthday, sweetie. Hope you had a wonderful day. With a string of heart emojis. It was 10:47 p.m. Something crystallized in me that night. Not anger exactly. More like clarity. The kind that comes when you finally stop lying to yourself. I was the person who held things together. But no one was holding anything together for me. The next few months followed the same patterns. Morgan called me crying about a breakup. Rachel needed me to help with Jordan's school project. My parents needed me to explain their new cable setup. I showed up. I helped. I listened. I coordinated Christmas, which was at my parents' house, meaning I did most of the actual coordination while Rachel took credit for the menu planning and Morgan showed up with a gift card from the airport. In February, my company promoted me to senior program manager. It came with a significant raise and a small team reporting to me. I was proud. It was recognition of years of careful, consistent work. I mentioned it in the family group chat. Morgan sent a thumbs up emoji. My parents called 3 days later to tell me about Rachel's daughter getting into a gifted program. Rachel never acknowledged it at all. In March, I adopted a second dog. A rescue named Benny who was shy and sweet and needed someone patient. I posted a photo in the group chat. Morgan said he was cute. No one else responded. 2 days later, Rachel posted in the same chat about refinishing their basement. Everyone responded. Questions about contractors, paint colors, design ideas. The conversation went on for 2 days. 43 messages. My 2 dogs and my promotion had generated 1 emoji and silence. I stopped initiating contact. Not dramatically. I just stopped being the first one to reach out. Stopped sending the check-in texts. Stopped asking how everyone was doing. For 3 weeks my phone was quiet. Then Rachel texted asking if I could babysit on Saturday. Morgan called asking for advice about a freelance contract. Mom called asking if I'd heard from Morgan lately. I responded to all of them. I was still polite. Still helpful. But I didn't reach out first anymore. In April, my dad had a minor health scare. Chest pains that turned out to be acid reflux, but scary enough that Mom called everyone in a panic. Rachel was there within an hour. Morgan flew home the next day. I got the call 6 hours after it happened, after everything had been resolved. We didn't want to worry you at work, Mom explained when I asked why no one had called me sooner. Rachel was a part-time consultant. Morgan was freelance. I was the only one with a traditional office job. But apparently I was also the only one whose work was important enough to not be interrupted, even for a family emergency. Or maybe I was the only one whose presence wasn't actually needed. I thought about that a lot over the following weeks. The way my family had built a hierarchy without ever explicitly stating it. Rachel was the golden child, the standard bearer, the one we should all aspire to be. Morgan was the baby, the creative one, the one who needed protection and patience. And I was the utility player, the one who filled gaps, the one who kept things running smoothly in the background, the one nobody would really miss if she stopped showing up. I started testing that theory. In May, it was Mom's birthday. Usually, I organized everything. The reservation, the cake, the gift. This year, I waited to see who would do it if I didn't. The day before Mom's birthday, Rachel texted the family group, "Are we doing anything for Mom's birthday?" Morgan responded, "I thought we were doing dinner." Rachel, "Where?" Morgan, "I don't know, the usual place." Rachel, "Did someone make a reservation?" Silence for 2 hours. Then Mom texted, "You don't have to do anything special. I know everyone's busy." Rachel called me. "Did you make a reservation?" "No," I said. "I thought someone else might handle it this year. It's tomorrow. Everything will be booked, probably." A pause. "Can you call around? You're good at finding places." "I'm at work," I said. "Maybe Morgan can do it." "Morgan's not good at that kind of thing." Morgan was 29 years old. She could make a phone call. "I'm sure you'll figure something out," I said. Another pause, longer this time. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine. I just can't handle it today." "Okay," Rachel said slowly. "I'll take care of it." They ended up ordering pizza and eating at Mom and Dad's house. Morgan bought a cake from the grocery store. I sent flowers. When I arrived, Mom hugged me and thanked me for the flowers. "They're lovely. You didn't have to." I stayed for an hour and left. In the car, I cried. Not because dinner had been chaotic or thrown together, but because it had been fine. They'd managed without me, which meant they'd always been capable of managing without me. They'd just chosen not to because I'd always been there to do it. June was Jordan's birthday party. Rachel sent out a group text about it. The party was at a local trampoline place. 2 to 5 p.m. on a Saturday. I didn't respond to the text. 3 days before the party, Rachel called me. "Did you see the message about Jordan's party?" "I did." "Are you coming?" "I can't. I have plans." "What plans?" I didn't have plans. I was going to stay home with my dogs and read a book. But that was still a plan. Just personal things I need to take care of. "Can you reschedule? Jordan's been asking if Aunt Claire's coming." I doubted that. Jordan was 8. He loved me in the casual way kids love familiar adults, but he wasn't tracking my attendance. "I really can't," I said. "Tell him I'm sorry. I'll drop off a gift later this week." "This isn't like you," Rachel said. "I know. Is something wrong?" "Yes. Everything. Nothing." How do you explain to someone that you're drowning in the pattern of your own helpfulness? "I'm just busy," I said. "I'll see you all soon." I dropped off Jordan's gift on a Tuesday evening. Rachel wasn't home. Todd answered the door, thanked me, and that was it. July was quiet. I went to work. I came home. I took the dogs on long walks. I started reading again, something I'd stopped having time for. I went to movies by myself. I bought plants for my patio and actually kept them alive. I slept well for the first time in years. My phone was quieter than it had ever been. Morgan texted once asking if I was mad at her. I said no, just busy. She sent a heart emoji and didn't follow up. Rachel didn't reach out at all. My parents called twice. Both times to ask if I'd heard from Morgan, who wasn't responding to their texts. I said no. They told me about Rachel's kids and Todd's new car and their upcoming cruise. I listened. I said that sounded nice. They didn't ask me anything about my life. On July 23rd, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "Is this Claire Morrison?" "Yes, this is Jennifer Chen from Pacific Northwest Medical Center. I'm calling about your grandmother, Patricia Morrison." My grandmother. Dad's mother. She lived in a memory care facility about 90 minutes north. I visited her once a month, more than anyone else in the family. She didn't always remember my name anymore, but she smiled when she saw me. Is she okay? She's had a fall. She's stable, but we needed to bring her to the hospital for evaluation. You're listed as her emergency contact. I'd added myself 2 years ago when I realized no one else was visiting her regularly. I'll be there as soon as I can. I called my dad on the way. It went to voicemail. I called Rachel. Voicemail. Morgan. Voicemail. I texted the family group chat. Grandma fell. She's at Pacific Northwest Medical. I'm on my way there now. I drove 90 minutes with the radio off, running through memories of my grandmother before the dementia. She'd been sharp and funny and kind. She taught me to bake. She let me help in her garden. She told me once that middle children were the strongest because they learned early how to exist without constant attention. At the hospital, I found her in the emergency room. Bruised and confused but not seriously injured. They were keeping her overnight for observation. I sat with her. She called me Patricia, which was her own name. I didn't correct her. Around 8 p.m. my dad called back. I saw your text. How is she? She's okay. Bruised hip, possible minor concussion. They're keeping her overnight. Do we need to come up tonight? Me. As if I weren't already there. As if we were all equally distant. No, I'm here. I'll stay with her. You don't have to do that. I know. A pause. Let me know if anything changes. He hung up. No one else called. No one else texted. I spent a night in an uncomfortable chair next to my grandmother's bed. She slept fitfully. I dozed occasionally. In the quiet hours of early morning, I made a decision. I was done. Not with my grandmother. I'd keep visiting her. She deserved that. But with the rest of it. The performing. The accommodating. The being available for everyone who was never available for me. They'd been fine without me for 2 months. They'd managed permanently. The next morning, they released my grandmother back to the memory care facility. I drove behind the transport, made sure she was settled, spoke with the staff about prevention measures for future falls, and drove home. I texted the family group, Grandma's back at the facility, she's fine. Rachel responded, thanks for handling that. Like I'd picked up dry cleaning. I didn't respond. August arrived. I got an invitation to Rachel's annual backyard barbecue. She did one every summer. Big event. Extended family, neighbors, Todd's work friends. I was usually there by 9 a.m. to help set up. The party started at 2. I didn't RSVP. The week of the party, Rachel texted me directly, are you coming on Saturday? I don't think so. What? Why not? I have other things to do. Like what? Why did I need to justify it? When Rachel was too busy for something, everyone accepted it. When Morgan flaked, it was just how she was. But I had to provide documentation for my absence. Personal things, I said. This is getting weird, Claire. Are you mad about something? Was I mad? I'd been thinking about that question for months. I wasn't mad in the traditional sense. I wasn't holding a grudge about any single incident. It was more like waking up from something. Like realizing you'd been cold for so long you'd forgotten what warmth felt like. I'm not mad, I said. I just can't make it. We need to talk, okay? But she didn't call. She didn't suggest a time to talk. She just left it hanging there, an obligation placed on me to fix whatever this was. I didn't go to the barbecue. That Sunday, my dad called. Your sister's worried about you. I'm fine. She said you didn't come to her party, that you've been distant lately. I've been busy with work. Is everything okay with your job? This surprised me. It was perhaps the first time he'd asked me anything specific about my working years. Everything's good. I got a promotion a few months ago. Actually, Earl, that's good. He said it the way you acknowledge information you're receiving for the first time, which it was. Well, Rachel thinks something's wrong. She wants you to call her. Dad, if Rachel wants to talk to me, she can call me. Don't be difficult. Difficult. I was being difficult by not immediately complying. I have to go, I said. I'll talk to you later. I didn't call Rachel. The next morning, Morgan called. Hey, so Rachel is really upset. About what? About you not coming to the barbecue and not being around lately? She thinks you're mad at her. I'm not mad at her. Then what's going on? How do you explain to someone that you've realized your role in their life is purely functional? That you've figured out no one actually wants you there, they just want the things you do? Nothing's going on. I'm just prioritizing differently. That sounds like therapy speak. Maybe I've been going to therapy. I hadn't been, but I probably should have been. Are you okay? Yes, you'd tell me if something was wrong, right? Would I? I told Morgan things were wrong hundreds of times over the years. About my stress, my loneliness, my feeling invisible. She listened the way people listen to background noise. Sympathetic sounds at appropriate moments, but no real attention or follow through. Sure, I said. Okay, well, maybe call Rachel. She's really worried. I'll think about it. I didn't call Rachel. September came. Normally, this was when I started planning Thanksgiving. 4 months ahead. Coordinating schedules, making lists, sending out the first feeler messages about who was hosting. I did nothing. Mid-September, Mom called. Have we talked about Thanksgiving yet? Not that I know of. Well, we should probably start planning. Do you think Rachel wants to host again? You'd have to ask her. I thought maybe you could ask her. You're better at organizing these things. I think anyone can send a text, Mom. A pause. Are you feeling alright? You sound stressed. I'm fine. You've seemed off lately. Off? Because I wasn't performing my expected role. I've just been busy. Too busy for family? The question landed like an accusation. Too busy for family. I'd never been too busy for family. I cancelled dates, missed friends' events, turned down opportunities, all to be available for family. And it had never been enough or even noticed. I'll make time for Thanksgiving when we have a plan, I said. Well, someone needs to coordinate it, then someone should. Claire, I need to go. Mom, I'll talk to you later. I hung up before she could say anything else. That evening, the family group chat erupted. Rachel, we need to figure out Thanksgiving. Mom is stressing. Morgan, can we do it at Mom and Dad's like last year? Dad, that's fine with us. Rachel, who's coordinating? Silence. Rachel, Claire usually does this. Morgan, maybe Claire's too busy this year. Rachel, Claire. I watched the messages appear. Waited. Then typed, I'm not planning Thanksgiving this year. Rachel, why not? Me, someone else should do it. Rachel, that's not helpful. Me, neither is expecting me to do it every year. Rachel, you've never said you didn't want to. And there it was. The crux of everything. I'd never said I didn't want to. I'd just done it. Silently. Year after year. And because I'd never complained, they'd assumed I was happy to do it. Or at least willing. Or at minimum, that it didn't matter either way. Me, I'm saying it now. Morgan, this is weird energy. Rachel, can we talk about this privately? Me, there's nothing to talk about. I'm not doing it this year. If no one else wants to, we can skip it. Mom, we're not skipping Thanksgiving. Rachel, fine, I'll do it. And that should have been the end of it. A simple redistribution of labor. But it wasn't. 2 days later, Rachel called me. I let it go to voicemail. She called again. And again. On the 4th call, I answered. What's going on with you? No hello. No preamble. What do you mean? You know what I mean. You've been acting strange for months. You're avoiding everyone. You won't help with family things. Mom is worried. I'm worried. There's nothing to worry about. Then why are you being like this? Like what? Distant, cold, selfish. Selfish. The word hung in the air between us. I'd spent decades being the opposite of selfish. Being available and accommodating and helpful. And the moment I stopped, I was selfish. I am not being selfish, I said quietly. I'm just not being available the way I used to be. What's the difference? The difference is that I have my own life, my own priorities. I can't always drop everything for everyone else. No one asked you to drop everything. Rachel, you called me 3 times in a row because you never answer anymore. Because I'm busy. Busy with what? You don't have kids. You don't have a spouse. Your job isn't that demanding. There it was. The real hierarchy. The real value system. Kids as spouses made your time valuable. Made your exhaustion legitimate. Made your needs priority. Everything else was just filler. Flexible time that belonged to whoever needed it. My life is still my life, I said. Even if it doesn't look like yours, this isn't about whose life is more important, isn't it? Because it feels like my time has only ever mattered when you needed something from me. That's not fair. When's my birthday, Rachel? Silence. When did I get promoted? More silence. What are my dogs' names, Claire? You don't know. You don't know because you've never asked, because nothing about my life has ever been important enough to remember unless it affected you. That's not true. When's the last time you called me just to see how I was doing? Not because you needed something, not because Mom was worried about Morgan, not because you needed a favor. When's the last time you cared about me as a person? I could hear her breathing on the other end. I care about you. You care about what I do for you. That's not the same thing. You're twisting this. I'm not. I'm just finally seeing it clearly. Seeing what? That I've spent my entire adult life being useful to everyone and mattering to no one. That's not your being dramatic. I spent 4 hours on my birthday babysitting your kids. You never even said happy birthday. She stopped. I forgot. I'm sorry, but you are making this bigger than it is. You're right. It's not one birthday. It's 33 years of being invisible. Unless someone needs something, you're not invisible. Then tell me something about my life. Anything. Tell me what I've been dealing with at work. Tell me what I do on weekends. Tell me what matters to me. Silence stretched out. Long enough that I knew she couldn't answer. I have to go, Rachel said finally. But we're not done talking about this. She hung up. I sat on my couch with my phone in my hand and my dogs pressed against my legs, and I felt something big open in my chest. Not sadness exactly. More like release. October was quiet. No one called. The family group chat went silent. Or rather, it continued without me. I check occasionally and see conversations happening. Rachel coordinating Thanksgiving. Mom asking about recipes. Morgan sending photos from a weekend trip. My dad making dad jokes. No one addressed me directly. No one seemed to notice I wasn't participating. It was confirmation of what I'd suspected. They didn't need me to be there. They just needed me to be available. 3 weeks before Thanksgiving, Rachel sent a group message. Thanksgiving is at my house, 3 p.m. Everyone bring a dish. Let me know what you're bringing. Morgan, I'll bring wine. Dad, your mother and I will bring rolls. Mom, are we doing assigned dishes? Should Claire bring her green bean casserole? My name. Finally. In reference to a casserole. I didn't respond. 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, Rachel texted me directly. Are you coming to Thanksgiving? I haven't decided. What do you mean you haven't decided? It's Thanksgiving. I might do something else this year. Like what? I don't know yet. Claire, this is ridiculous. Whatever you're upset about, can we please just move past it? I'm not upset. Then why are you acting like this? I'm just making different choices. Choices that don't include your family. Choices that prioritize my own well-being. So we're bad for your well-being? I thought about how to answer that. You're not bad for me, but the way we've been relating to each other isn't healthy for me. What does that even mean? It means I've realized I've been giving a lot more than I've been getting, and I need to balance that. This is therapy nonsense maybe, but it's still true. Everyone gives in families. That's what family is. You're right. Everyone should give, but that's not what's been happening. I give plenty. When's the last time you helped me with something? You never ask for help because I learned a long time ago that no one was going to show up. That's not fair. We kept circling back to fairness. As if I were being unreasonable. As if setting boundaries was an attack. I need to go, I said. Are you coming to Thanksgiving or not? Probably not. Mom and Dad are going to be so hurt. Then they can call me and tell me that. They didn't call. Thanksgiving week arrived. I requested the Wednesday through Sunday off work. I booked a cabin 2 hours up the coast. No Wi-Fi. No cell service unless you drove 10 minutes to town. Just me, my dogs, and silence. On Wednesday morning, I packed the car. On Wednesday afternoon, I texted the family group. I won't be at Thanksgiving this year. I hope you all have a lovely time. Morgan responded immediately. Wait, what? Rachel, you're seriously not coming? Mom, Claire, please, we can talk about whatever's bothering you. Dad, this is childish. Childish. My father, who I'd helped navigate retirement paperwork and technology and medical insurance, called me childish for taking a boundary. I turned my phone off and drove north. The cabin was small and cold and perfect. I built fires. I read 3 books. I walked the dogs on empty beaches. I cooked simple meals. I slept deeply. I thought about my life and what I wanted it to look like. For the first time in longer than I could remember, I felt peaceful. I turned my phone on Sunday evening when I was back in cell range. 47 notifications. Texts from Rachel, ranging from annoyed to angry to worried. Texts from Morgan, mostly confused. Several from my mother, increasingly anxious. 2 from my father, both curt. And 1 group message sent on Thanksgiving Day at 4:17 p.m. Rachel, I can't do this anymore. Claire has made it clear she doesn't want to be part of this family. I think we need to respect that and stop reaching out. If she wants to be alone, let her be alone. Morgan, that seems extreme. Rachel, she's the one being extreme. She missed Thanksgiving. She won't talk to any of us. She's obviously decided we're not important to her. Mom, I'm sure she's just going through something. Rachel, for 4 months at some point, we have to accept that she's choosing this. Dad, your sister's right. If Claire wants to be part of this family, she knows where to find us. Otherwise, we need to move forward. Rachel, exactly. I'm done chasing her. As far as I'm concerned, she's made her choice. And then a message that made my hands shake. Rachel, Claire is dead to me. Morgan, Rachel, come on. Rachel, I mean it. I'm done. She's my sister and I love her, but I can't keep trying with someone who clearly doesn't want to try back. She's dead to me. Mom, let's not say things we can't take back. Rachel, I'm not taking it back. I'm done. I reread the messages 3 times. Then I turned my phone off again. Dead to her. My sister, who I'd supported and helped and showed up for, had declared me dead to her because I'd taken 4 months to prioritize myself. I drove home in the dark. I didn't cry. I felt numb and clear-headed and, strangely, free. That was 11 months ago. In that time, here's what happened. I didn't reach out to anyone. Not once. No texts, no calls, no likes on social media. Complete silence. For the first few weeks, messages still came. Morgan asking if I was okay. My mother trying to smooth things over. Rachel sending angry texts about my selfishness. I didn't respond to any of it. After a month, the messages slowed. After 2 months, they stopped. I spent Christmas alone with my dogs. I made myself a nice dinner. I watched movies I'd been meaning to see. It was peaceful. In January, my company asked me to lead a major new initiative. I said yes. The project was challenging and engaging and required travel. I said yes to the travel too. In February, I went on a date. Then another. Nothing serious, but nice. Reminder that I was a person outside of my family's needs. In March, I joined a book club. Real people in real life who met weekly and actually discussed books and slowly became friends. In April, I started seeing a therapist. Not because something was wrong, but because I wanted to understand how I'd lost myself so thoroughly in other people's needs. She helped me see patterns I'd been enacting since childhood. The peacemaker. The helper. The one who made herself small so others could be comfortable. In May, my grandmother died. The facility called me first. I was still her emergency contact. I drove up immediately. I sat with her body for an hour before making the calls. I called my dad. He answered. I told him his mother had died. He was quiet for a long moment. Then he said thank you for being there. He said he'd tell the others. I arranged the funeral. Not because I was falling back into old patterns, but because I was the only one who maintained a relationship with her. She deserved someone who cared to handle the details. The funeral was small. My parents came. Rachel came with Todd but without the kids. Morgan flew in. We were polite. Distant. We sat in different rows. At the reception, my mother approached me. Thank you for arranging everything. Of course, she loved you very much. I knew that. Grandma had loved me because I'd shown up. Because I'd visited when no one else did. Because I'd sat with her even when she didn't remember my name. I loved her too. Mom hesitated. We've missed you, okay. I know there's been conflict. I know Rachel said things she shouldn't have, but you're still family. Am I? Of course you are. Rachel said I was dead to her. She didn't mean it. She was upset. She said it in front of the whole family. No one contradicted her. We were all upset. I wasn't. I was just setting boundaries. Boundaries that meant abandoning your family. There it was again. The framework where my needs were abandonment, but their neglect was just oversight. I didn't abandon anyone, I said quietly. I just stopped doing all the work. That's not fair, Mom. Did you know I got promoted last year to senior management? She blinked. Did you know I adopted a second dog? Did you know I spent my birthday babysitting Rachel's kids and no one in this family even said happy birthday to me? I sent you a message at almost 11 p.m. after I'd spent 4 hours of my birthday as free childcare. She looked stricken. I didn't know you felt that way. That's the problem. No one ever asked how I felt. They just assumed I was fine because I kept showing up. We shouldn't talk about this here. When should we talk about it? When would be convenient for you? Claire, I spent 33 years making myself convenient for this family. I'm done. I walked away. Rachel was standing by the door. We made eye contact. She looked away first. I left the reception. I didn't say goodbye. That was 6 months ago. Since then, there's been silence. Complete and absolute. No one has reached out. No texts. No calls. No emails. Nothing. At first, I checked my phone constantly. Waiting. Hoping maybe someone would push through their pride or discomfort and actually try to have a real conversation. But no one did. And slowly, I stopped checking. Stopped hoping. Stopped waiting for people who were never going to show up. I built a life without them. A good life. Not perfect, not without loneliness, but mine. I had friends now. Real friends who asked how I was doing and remembered details about my life. I had work I cared about. I had my dogs. I had my little house. I had peace. 3 weeks ago, something shifted. I was at a coffee shop near my office, working on my laptop during lunch, when someone said my name. I looked up. It was Sarah, one of Rachel's neighbors. We'd been friendly at barbecues and parties over the years. Claire, oh my God, I haven't seen you in forever. Hi, Sarah, how are you? I've been asking Rachel about you, but she always changes the subject. I'm good. How are you? Good, good. How's your family? An interesting question, given that she saw Rachel regularly. They're fine, as far as I know. As far as you know? I smiled politely. We're not really in touch these days, oh. She looked uncomfortable. I'm sorry, I didn't know. It's fine. Well, you look great. Really great. Are you seeing anyone? We chatted for a few more minutes. Surface level stuff. Then she left, but not before saying, it was really good to see you. You seem, I don't know, happier that I remember. That night Rachel called me. I almost didn't answer. But curiosity won. Hello, Sarah, saw you today. No hello. No preamble. Just accusation. Okay, she said you told her we're not in touch. We're not. You made it sound like I'm the problem. It didn't say anything about you. I said we're not in touch, which is true. She's going to think I did something wrong. Did you? Silence. Then this is so like you, playing the victim, making me look bad. Rachel, I haven't spoken about you to anyone. Sarah asked how I was. I answered honestly. You could have lied. Why would I lie? To protect the family. To protect the family. To protect Rachel's image. To pretend everything was fine so no one would ask uncomfortable questions. I'm not doing that anymore, I said. You're unbelievable. Rachel, you said I was dead to you. You said it in front of everyone. I honored that. I stayed away. I built a life without you. If that's making you look bad, maybe examine why. You're twisting this. I'm not. I'm just done pretending. Done with what? Done pretending we have a relationship we don't have. Done protecting everyone else at my own expense. Done being the person everyone uses but no one values. I valued you when. Give me one example of you valuing me in the last 5 years. Silence. That's what I thought, I said. I need to go. Claire, wait. I hung up. That was 3 weeks ago. Since then, my phone has been busy. Morgan called. Left a voicemail saying we should talk. That she misses me. That she didn't understand what happened but she wants to fix it. My mother called. Left a voicemail saying the family isn't the same without me. That holidays feel incomplete. That she's sorry for whatever happened. My father called. Left a voicemail saying I'd made my point. That it was time to move past this. That family was more important than grudges. Rachel hasn't called again. But yesterday, something arrived in the mail. A card. Expensive cardstock, Rachel's handwriting. I opened it standing by my mailbox. Inside, one sentence, I'm sorry. No explanation. No details. Just those 2 words. I stood there for a long time holding the card, feeling nothing and everything. Sorry for what? For saying I was dead to her. For years of taking me for granted. For only reaching out when someone else saw me looking happy. The card didn't say. I went inside. I put the card on my kitchen counter. I've looked at it probably 20 times in the last day. I don't know what to do with it. Part of me wants to respond. Wants to hope this is the beginning of something real. A genuine recognition. A chance to rebuild on healthier terms. But another part of me, the part that spent 11 months learning to value myself, knows that 2 words on expensive cardstock isn't the same as actual change. Sorry is easy. Change behavior is hard. And I'm tired of being the one who does the hard work. So here's where I am now. I'm not reaching out. I'm not initiating. I'm not doing the emotional labor of rebuilding something that other people broke. If my family wants me back in their lives, they know where to find me. They have my number. They have my address. They have every opportunity to show up in real, consistent, meaningful ways. But I'm not holding my breath. Because what the last 11 months have taught me is that I don't need them to show up. I've built a life without them. A good life. A life where I matter. Where I'm seen. Where I'm valued not for what I do but for who I am. And honestly, I'm not sure there's room for people who only noticed my absence when it started affecting their reputation. Maybe that makes me cold. Maybe that makes me unforgiving. Maybe that makes me everything Rachel accused me of. But it also makes me free. My therapist asked me last week what I wanted from my family. I didn't have an answer then, but I think I do now. I want them to prove me wrong. To show me that they can value me without needing me. That they can be interested in my life without an agenda. That they can show up consistently, not just in crisis or when it's convenient. I want them to do the work I've been doing my entire life. And if they can't or won't, then I'll keep building this life I've made. This life where I'm not invisible. Where my birthday matters. Where my dogs have names people remember. Where my accomplishments are celebrated, not overlooked. Where I am not dead to anyone, including myself. I don't know how the story ends. Maybe my family will surprise me. Maybe they'll show up. Maybe we'll find a way forward that's healthier and more balanced. Or maybe this is the ending. Maybe the last 11 months weren't a break but a breaking away. A necessary severing of patterns that were hurting me. Either way, I'm okay. That's what I want anyone listening to understand. If you're the person everyone relies on but no one shows up for, if you're exhausted from being useful but never valued, if you've made yourself small for so long you've forgotten how to take up space, you can stop. You can set it down. All of it. The expectations, the obligations, the unspoken contracts you never agree to. And yes, people will be upset. They'll call you selfish. They'll say you're abandoning them. They'll make you the villain in a story where you were barely a character. Let them. Because on the other side of that discomfort is something quiet and precious in yours, your own life, lived on your own terms, measured by your own values. It's not perfect. It's sometimes lonely. But it's real. And it's mine. If you found yourself in a similar situation, if you're wondering whether you should keep trying or whether it's okay to walk away, I can't tell you what to do. Every family is different. Every situation has nuance. But I can tell you this, your life matters even when no one's watching. Your needs are legitimate even when no one's meeting them. Your boundaries are valid even when people refuse to respect them. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself and maybe even for them is to stop participating in patterns that diminish you. I don't know if my family will ever understand that. But I do. And for now, that's enough. Thanks for listening. If you've stuck with me through this whole story, I appreciate it. It helps to say it out loud. To name what happened. To stop carrying it alone. If you've experienced something similar, I'd be curious to hear about it. Not because I'm looking for a validation, but because these stories matter. Because the invisible work of maintaining families matters. Because the people who hold things together deserve to be seen. And because sometimes the bravest thing you can do is let go.